This guy, John McSwiney, he's associated with an NGO in Canberra. Um, he's involved, connected to the deliberative democracy, which is an alternative version of the Burgess democracy, party democracy, the faux democracy that we have now. And I was interested in that. Is Firstly, he's also a little bit too smug about the Pauline Hanson thing. They seem to be very jolly about that, and I don't know. I think there might be some growth there that isn't probably real good. Um, Probably not that good, and but they're a little bit too happy right now about that. Um, they might think that they've seen Hanson off and Clive Palmer off, and that might be just the end of it. I'm not so sure. We can't even get lettuce in Australia right now, so there could be a lot of more problems. And some savvier people than Hanson and Palmer to take advantage of that. So they're a little bit too happy about that. But I wanted to talk a couple of things. Deliberative democracy is adjacent to slightly an old sortition, the government by lot, and that I was reminded of an incident in 2018. That was sortition guy Paul Rosenfeld. He was going to set off a huge bomb on election day, the midterm of 2018 elections in the US. On the National Mall, he was going to blow himself up. They had 8 kilos of black powder, 200-pound bomb, they said, and that was quite. I was really impressed by that. Um, I thought that guy was just brilliant. That was just a brilliant idea. They're saying he was trying to kill other people, but he wasn't going to do that. He was just going to blow himself up. They had no plans to. I think he's not a jihadi, but so he was my hero for a while. He sort of grovelled, he got a short sentence, I think 18 months or something like that. In the end, he's grovelled and sort of very apologetic, so I sort of went off him thing, but I understand him doing that. We all do that under pressure, so. But I was very impressed. I was really impressed by that. Um, and so deliberative democracy is not the same as sortition, but it's an alternative sort of. It's a variant of democracy. And I was reminded of that when I was reading about this Jordan McSwiney guy. I didn't like his voice, so I find high-pitched men's voices very difficult to listen to. But I skimmed through it again, 51 minutes, the full version that you can download. And he's talking also about Western civilization. And he's on the money. I think I said in a blog post back in 2018, I think it was, or 2017, probably 2018, go west. Go west on my blog about Western civilization, especially the so-called Judeo-Christian civilization. It's an incoherent concept. We can talk also about like the Buddhist civilizations and the olive oil civilizations that Taleb talks about. I don't want to go into that too much, but I don't think it's. You can read that on my blog. I might post a link, and I just find it's a little bit incoherent, the very idea of it. So I mean, he says that Greece wasn't really part of the West until the 1960s, and it's sort of this is very much a truth to that. Technically, these are places that came up with science, Ionia, around that area. They're part of Turkey now, and that's sort of really part of Asia, Asia Minor, I think the technical name is. It's not really what you call European Greece. It's a Mediterranean culture. Like North Africa is Mediterranean. The Berbers, they had an interesting civilization there before it was Islamized, before Islam. And the Arabs came along and sort of it went downhill after that. There were revivals of Greek learning. Um, in the Middle Ages, when Europe fell and the so-called Islamic world became more of a centre of science and other things and philosophy. Probably not many original ideas, but they did sort of keep it alive. Um, and so I agree it's not really a coherent concept. I don't think what you call the West is very civilized. I've been talking a lot about that. Belgians, Swedes, England. I don't want to go over that again, but I think Northern Europe, I'm not a big fan of that. The so-called West, um, typically defined these days. So I'm on board with that. I don't think it's a coherent concept. You can read my little blog about that. And he reminded me of Sortition guy, the Deliberative Democracy, Jordan McSwiney. There's NGOs in Canberra, I think. A few other interesting people there. It's quite interesting. It did remind me of Sortition guy, and I was I was very impressed by him. Um, Rosenfeld, very interesting man. It's a little bit incoherent. His sort of little PDF I read of his starts off well, but loses a bit of momentum. But this thing, Western civilization, I don't think is a really coherent concept, and I think these are actually right. But I don't know. These people seem a little bit soft on Islam, and I don't know. They just seem a little bit blasé about the threat that Islam poses to civilization itself. The full-on type of Sunni Islam that's not really conducive to civilization. But I think there's a lot more interesting stuff there. And I think he's one guest of Pasaran that's got a bit of a stronger grasp on things than some of the others.